Day podcast. Today is a very special day because we're celebrating our wonderful mothers and mother figures. We're excited to have two amazing moms with us as our special guests. We're going to be asking them some fun and interesting questions, and we hope you enjoy listening to their stories. Welcome, parents. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is E07, a mother to two boys, a wife, an employee, and an entrepreneur.
My name is Tamara Kaunda, a mother to three boys. One was George, my classmate. I'm a retired medical doctor, an entrepreneur.
Can you tell us about a fun memory when you were our age?
Wow, interesting. Being of your age at the time, we used to do a lot of fighting in the village. I'm a village girl, grown and raised in the village typically. And so we found ourselves doing a lot of fighting when we are going to school. And it was about the strongest who would win at that point when you go to school. So sometimes it was scary, sometimes it was fun, but if you are the one on duty to fight, you are in trouble.
Well, I grew up in the village, so I'm from Chinsali. Growing up at your age was different from you guys. You guys have to be dropped to school, you have to be picked from school. It was different. You had to walk to school. Yes, so the place where I lived, it was like 1,000 hectares, farm. So which meant I had to walk 10 kilometers to school and 10 kilometers back home. So going to school was quite interesting because the entire place was like a bush. So we had fruits, wild fruits you pick, when you're going, coming back. But at the same time, you needed to be on time to school. So you had to start off early. Not the way you guys, you have to wake you up, Ours, it was different. It was automatic, and you had to wake up yourself, Our parents were different from us, parents. So you had to do everything for yourself. You wake up early, you had to walk to school, so you had to do everything on time. And one interesting part was myself, we had some dogs. We had kept quite a number of dogs, so the dogs would escort us until the end of the farm, which was kind of, some security for us. And, well, back then I think the world was much safer than it is now. We never experienced, any attacks or whatsoever. So it was different. It was fun, and we grew up like that. So as we grew up in the village, it was interesting because we experienced a different type of life from you guys. So picking fruits, sometimes we'd go hunting with the dogs. I would go hunting with the dogs, yeah. So it's a whole different type of setup, but it was very interesting. Yeah.
Nice. What is one piece of advice you would give to children today?
The first advice I would give the children of today is that you need to learn to work with your hands, develop a certain skill. When you're with mom and dad at home, help out with not help out, do the house chores, learn cleaning, learn washing dishes, learn, gardening, help with the flowers. The more you work with your hands, the more you develop your skill. Even at life is like that. The more you work with your hands, your brain develops faster because you're able to do something. You feel good. Oh, you see the house is dirty. You get a broom, you sweep, you mop. That way your brain will develop faster. Even you'll be able to handle life situations because your brain is trained to do something. So don't say no because it's the auntie at home, is going to do everything. Your bed, you must do your bed, make sure you clean your shoes, make sure your room is tied up. The more you do that, the more you learn to handle life. So for me, the best advice I can give you is be part of the team at home. Be part of the work at home. Make sure you listen to your parents and help out at home, do the chores. That way you're going to develop into an adult that is responsible and developmental. You'll be able to handle life because you're able to handle small things.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Thank you. So this morning I woke up watching something with my son, Super Striker. I like the part where you say that you need to be part of the team. And so he loves soccer. So I decided to just be by his side as he was cheering on the team. And so I saw something that is very paramount this morning. I thought I shared. And so I saw this particular striker being surrounded by opponents the other side. And so in defense, they were surrounding this particular striker because they knew that if he took the ball, and that's it, they are going to lose. And so I noticed that this particular player was not concentrating on the defense. He was not concentrating on anything else. He was concentrating on the ball. So what I want to talk about is focus. You live in a world where people tell you, oh, your nose is wide, they'll body shame you, there's a world of bullyism. There are all sorts of things that will make you feel like, can I really do it? But I saw today that the focus was on the ball, and the idea was to score at whatever cost. So you have a future, you are planning to be somebody in life, you focus. So you come to school, you find some bullies, you come to school, you hear things, and perhaps maybe body shaming and all the things you hear. But your eyes must be on the goal, because the future is waiting and it is for you to score. Nobody else, not mommy, no daddy, nobody else, but you have to score. And I think that's a piece of advice I can give to children like you.
Okay, that's interesting. What is your favorite family tradition and why do you love it?
Oh, I was looking forward almost every other holiday. So coming from the village, I'm glad we are talking village here. So we'll talk about village. So you guys, I don't even know whether you understand what village setup looks like. So village, you don't wake up to eat cornflakes, you don't wake up to say now it's a 10 hours meal, or what we had 1 meal in the morning. Sometimes a meal at lunch hour, and you don't have to ask for any other. You want a meal, you go out and look for some fruits, some wild fruits outside. And so what we look for after helping out the parents going in the field, I like what she said about helping. I remember being a shepherd. Sometimes my grandfather had a lot of cows. And he had a lot of girls and boys. Boys were in school. So we found ourselves going out to take care of the cows. And so when you come back, you are tired. So there was no job for a girl, there was no job for a guy. So everybody was doing the same work, so we'd be exhausted. So what we'll be looking forward is a time to rest. Now the time to rest came with fire. So we had a fire camp where all the children and the grandparents and our mummies, everybody surrounded our place. And I like this season the most because then you have groundnuts and you have the sweet potatoes and you'll be eating and then you hear the stories. Then grandma and grandpa will tell us about their old times, how they lived like their lives like we are doing now. We are the ones telling the stories about how it used to be. So it will be so interesting just to hear about, maybe they'll be telling you about slave trade, they'll be telling you about things that will be so intriguing. So every other evening, especially the weekend, we'll look forward to just be around the campfire because that brought warmth and it brought the family unity together. We heard these stories, we asked them, we were inquisitive about it. Some of them didn't look so real. But then again, we knew they spoke about them with passion. So we look forward every day to hear grandma's story, to hear grandfather's story, and the stories of those that were older than us. And we marveled because it was the stories of heroism and how they were resilient in their time to be able to stand against all odds. So those, and that was a family tradition I held close to my heart. And I look forward to that every other night, especially at the weekend.
Well, my story is not different from hers because we are from the village. And, you know, like she has said, back then there was very few houses or very few places where you could find TVs and all that. We never had that opportunity. So our sort of entertainment was different. Our screen time was different. Like she has said, when you're done with the fields, you're done with the works, the chores and everything, the fire was a must. You know, actually, was it yesterday I was at the farm? We're actually collecting some firewood. Like, you know, I even posted a picture on Facebook where I'm carrying, you know, the firewood. So we could, you know, when you're coming back from the field, you come back with firewood. Because when the night came, it was our entertainment when to make the fire camp, you know, and everybody has to sit around it and listen to shimi. So each person who had had a story to tell and all that. So there's so much that comes with having a family together. And we grew up, we never had nuclear families. Most of us, we grew up in a place where you have cousins, you have aunties, everybody, a huge, group. So if you see us, we're able to relate with others. It's because we grew up in bigger groups. We grew up in families where a family was just mom, dad, and the children. No, it was cousins, aunties, everybody would come together. You listen, you laugh. That's where we had, connection, with everybody. It was a community. So you sit around the fire, this one says this, then you joke around, you speak. There was so much connection, there was so much love. So you would look forward to being with everybody. After you do the work during the day, of course, work is very important. So after you're done with work, you look forward to that where you sit around the fire and just listen to stories and just, bond with everybody. Because we are born beings. I want to find the correct word. We are people that need to connect. The more you live with people, the happier you are. Living alone and just by yourself, you end up going with some sort of depression and everything. But when you're with people, surrounded by the people that love you, your life becomes easier. You learn from that one, you learn from that one, you learn from that one. At the end of the day, even the younger ones. That's why they say a child is raised by a village. That's what they meant, because us were raised by everybody. They looked, they looked out for you. They made sure you were safe. Everything, they taught you things. So for us, it was a community where everybody is everybody's people. We never, were, segregated. So being together at night, being together on the weekends, being in the fields, those were precious moments. We actually want to replay that. You sit around, you're like, oh, I actually had the best life. And for me, I've actually done that with my kids. We usually go to the farm and make sure they play with dirt. Most people think, no, the clothes will be dirty. No. I allow them. If you speak to George and the brother, the youngest, they'll tell you that mommy takes us to the farm. They have to be in the mud. I allow them to be, just get dirty. Live the life. Dig, get dirty, have fun. Because for them, that is memories. That is very important. Also, that helps with the brain development and just being on the screen. The screen is enough for me. The ground, the dirtiness, being in the field, at the farm. For me, that's life. Yeah. So those were the interesting times. Yes.
Nice. When you were little, what did you dream of becoming to be when you grow up?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, so when I was growing up, first of all, I'll agree with when we are in the village, the first thing that I wanted to do was to be able to speak English. that was one of the dreams, huh? You could listen, because Dad would listen to the radio and you listen to someone, speaking nice English, and you're like, when would I ever able to do that? You guys, you were born, we teach you English from the word go. For us, I grew up from the northern circuit, in Chisali. We're taught English in Bemba. You understand? It's like you will not understand, but you are taught English in a local language for you to just understand the English. So you look forward to just learning English. Of course, I wanted to become a doctor, which I eventually became. But I'm just telling you the reality of growing up in the village setup. So there are little things that we wanted to do. That being able to communicate just in English was an achievement. So when we you reach to Saka and you listen, start watching cartoons, like, oh, okay, this is life. But mostly I wanted to become a doctor, which I eventually became. Yeah, but those were aspirations, to just be able to speak English and to communicate effectively in English. Yeah.
And perhaps just picking up from there, if you see people speaking English, I do remember being in a class where we're told don't speak any other language but English. So you find that the only ones, that will be the quietest day of your life, because nobody will be willing to speak because they can't speak. And so the ones who will be written as noise makers are the ones who speak English. And they'll be privileged to say one or two things. So I agree with you, Doc. And for me, I think I desired so badly to be a journalist. I watched, we had role models. I don't know, you guys, whether you have role models, people you look up to, that when you look at them and you say, I want to be like that one. I had an icon, and her name was Doreen Mukazo.
Yes.
You do remember, right? Yeah. So we had Doreen Mukazo, and every time she's greeting the politicians and she's asking, the way I'm swinging here, she'll be swinging around and then she'll go like, this is Doreen Mukazo, speaking from ZNBC Kitwe. I'm like, that's what I want to become, you know? So I looked at her with great admiration, the charisma of this world, and I just wanted to be on the screen. And remember those days we are talking about just watching TV. And like you guys, for us TV was just between 17, was that 17 hours?
Yeah, 17
hours up to 23.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no TV, nothing to watch, no video game, everything you're outside. And so for me, I was like, these people, how can I just go there and speak that English? And so half the times I would swing in my chair and I would just square up with my torn outfit. I said, someday I'm gonna be able to turn and say, this is Eunice speaking from ZNBC Lusaka. And I thought being on the screen was it. And so then I look back and I could do, congratulations, because dreams, yours came true, mine didn't. So I ended up to be a private sector development specialist, but I get to speak so often through media, and it's a dream come true, partially. But I wanted to be the one who asked questions. And so with that English, I wanted to make use of it, and I wanted to be a journalist. But I didn't become a journalist. But I'm still glad that I'm what I am today.
That's interesting. What makes you feel proud as a mother?
Oh, you'd be so. I think that question makes me want to answer so many things. Sometimes you are with the boys. I've got two naughty boys, and so sometimes you're with the boys and you think they need to go so that I can rest, because I need rest and I can't handle this. I need some time alone. And then when they are sick, one of the times when they are not there or they are not feeling well, it's the very thing I don't like that they do that I miss the most. Then I realize motherhood is not about the peace of being alone. It's about being around that same noise. And that's the love. And I think that's the definition and true definition of love. So one of my boys is in boarding school. And so what happens every time I go back home, they just hear the gate, I would, and then open it, they'll run towards the car. And then when they do, I have had my own stresses trying to make ends meet, to hustle around, and sometimes so stressful that you've had a bad day. But when you just see the light of these young two boys running to me and say, Mommy's around, and they'll get in the car, they'll ask me questions. Of course, one of them is, what did you bring? But that's just what makes me so proud. I forget about the weight of the day, and I'm just focusing to pick up my role as a mother and run with it and enjoy the company of people who truly love you, regardless whether I'm bad, I'm dressed, I'm what, they love me the same. And I think that is an epic moment for me as a mother.
Well, for me, since we're boy moms, yeah, for me, I'll pick it up from there. She has said, having the kids around me, just them being able to be themselves. Like she alluded earlier on, where there's so much going on in the world. Everybody has got this pressure, even the children. One thing that some parents don't understand, that even you guys, the little ones, you also have your own pressures. So when they come in my presence, they're just themselves. They know that they're imperfect. They're able to just be themselves. I say, we're around mom, and she understands us. They bring their complaints, whatever happened at school or what happened. They're able to express themselves without reservation. For me, that makes me feel happy, because I become their safe place. I become a place where they can run to, away from the noise of the world. They're able to be just themselves. For me, that's just one of the moments I can say I feel proud, because these little human beings that are learning, navigating the life they have never experienced. They are new to this earth, and them just being themselves around me just blows my mind. I just thank God that I mean, being able to be their mom. Yeah, for me that's the most proud moment.
If If you can describe motherhood in 3 words, what would they be?
Well, I would say number one, self-care. Number two, empathy. Number three is unconditional love and compassion. Why I speak of self-love was because this is Mother's Day we're talking about. There are so many mothers that are carrying so much weight and they don't care for themselves. They're carrying the world on their shoulders. So you see them every day. They're stressed, they're thinking about that one, they're thinking about them. But then that just dilutes their ability to give the best of them. But when you find a mother that cares for themselves, they are full of love, they're at their best, they're able to give their full potential to the world. They're able to give their full potential to their children. Mind you, me being a mother, it's not just the mother to George, Kabi, and Gideon. I'm a mother to so many people. Yeah, I'm your mom, I'm his mom. And if I'm full, if I'm well taken care of, I'm able to give that love and compassion to everybody else. So we have asked mothers, especially in the African setup, where the discussion just before came here, we say in African setup, mothers are neglected. Their own well-being is not looked at. We just want, it's like there's some sort of rewarding, seeing a mother suffering. No, there isn't. We have to care for ourselves. Let's allow mothers to care for themselves, be happy. When you have a happy mother, a happy woman, you see that you have a happy community, a happy home, and and she's able to just give out the best of herself to the world. So for me, this Mother's Day, I'm just so much on emphasis to say, let's give mothers, let's give ourselves that care. Go to the spa, go take a walk by yourself. Just give that life to you. Be happy. Be yourself. Allow yourself to just be you without having to think about everybody else. Because when you live a happy life, the world becomes happy. It's called Mother Earth because it's able to give. You've heard the word Mother Earth? It's Mother Earth because it's just given us the best of it. You can't go to the moon and say Mother Moon. You can't. Because it's not giving us anything. But when you say Mother Earth, it's giving us water, the air, everything we need to survive. So when you look at your mother, look at Earth. What is Earth giving us? It's giving us the base. It's giving us life. So that's what mothers are. They give us life. But that's why when they talk of climate change, they're talking about Earth not being taken care of. So if you don't take care of Earth, it will not give you the best. Same with mothers. If we don't take care of mothers, if mothers are not cared for, then they will not give us the best. So self-care, empathy, and unconditional love. That's what I can describe motherhood.
Awesome. I feel like saying I copy and paste. But maybe at this point I just want to say love, and I'm not going to speak much about it because I think I can't overemphasize that. But I'm going to speak love, courage, love, grace, and sacrifice. So when you look at love, which you have handled, and you look at grace, I just want to say it's hard to be a mother of this generation. And I say it's hard because there's so much demand, and the children, like you said, are stressed. Stress themselves because there's so much. Child A has got this, and the other child feels like they're not given the best. And so you need to come out and ask God for grace. Grace to raise them, irregardless of what the atmosphere is saying. The social medias, now we have children that will be on Facebook as early as 10 years old, and they are seeing things. They are having, I told you about my role model. It was a great thing to look out to somebody who's doing something great. Nowadays, a role model would be a content creator who's saying things that are bad. And then somebody, you can't stop a child from admiring, so they will admire somebody else. But the grace you need is to help these children to somehow divert their attention to what is right. Because a lot of people are speaking. A lot of circumstances are speaking in your lives as children. So there's so much demand on how you should look and how you should be looking like. If you don't look like that, the world will judge you. So as a mother, what we need is grace. So much grace. That does not only come from us, but comes from asking God daily, how do I raise my children in this generation? How do they hear your voice through me? Because sometimes you children will listen to anybody else but your mother. Because when your mother speaks, like, there she goes again. But we are in a place where I ask, Lord, give me grace, so that when I speak to my children, they'll be able to listen. Because ultimately, I also want to indicate that 2 weeks ago, I attended a mother-daughter retreat. What came out is, we are not communicating. The mother is on a gadget. The children are also watching something. There is no time for us to engage and communicate. That I had a discussion again prior to this particular discussion where we talked about, I learned something, I always pick up something. What time do we give to screen? What time do we watch? How long do we watch? When do we go together? What do we do? You ask us a question, what are your memories? How do you create a memory with a gadget? When it's dead, there's no memory. You will not remember how you were playing the game, because immediately you are done, you forget you want to do another. So grace is needed in this generation to help you guys to be raised and to focus on what matters, because the world will be calling you for wrong things. Sacrifice. Always. I don't know whether it's inbuilt. I'm not sure whether it's a default setting. But I'd rather walk and you are driving. I'd rather not eat, you have eaten. I do remember, Doc, I'm not sure about you, but I have those memories of our parents telling us that when you are eating something, the best food goes to the dad.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the biggest, chunk of meat
is for your father.
Yeah, and just not to cut you short, one of the girls, had visited a home and I saw, young children being given pieces of chicken, and it was 2 weeks ago she was telling me, when I moved to Lusaka, I found, big pieces being given to chicken and to children, and I was shocked. I'm like, how do children eat that big, big pieces of chicken?
Yes.
It was new to them.
Yes.
Because in the rural setup, the bigger pieces goes to the adults.
Yes. So you have to eat. What are they again? Are those lower legs or
Yes.
hands? I don't know. My son used to say, give me the hands. So I'm not so sure whether it was chicken feet or chicken hands. But then again, that's it.
Yeah.
They'll stick and they'll put the nice plates and put them there. They'll be gathering dust until a visitor comes. So you don't get to enjoy what you have. So sacrifice is about the children getting the best of what we are able to give them. Like you said, giving the best of what we have. Come on, we have good place, let them eat from the good place. You have a meal, those days even washing of hands. We start with the orders and then the dishes. And then the last one is the innocent little ones who's going to wash the same dirty water and say, it starts with the hand. Sometimes back in the village though, there's only one spoon.
Yeah.
And the spoon is going around. This one is the next one. We didn't care about that hygiene. But now, we are in the place of sacrifice and say, the kids come first.
Yes.
Because this is, you are building a generation that is going. Self-care will start by the rehearsals you do home with them. Realizing that you enjoy what you have together. You don't postpone it to the other day. You use the place you have today. You don't have to wait for somebody else to come for you to see. You get shocked. Oh, actually we have this place. We are shocked together with the visitors. And so we are in the generation where I'm saying we sacrifice as a mother, which is inbuilt. We don't struggle to do that. And so that's how I would describe a mother in those areas. Sacrifice, grace, and love together.
That's nice. It was nice having any last words.
I'll let you go first.
The last words would be, as she says, what we yearn for is cooperation as mothers. Cooperation from our children. And when I say children and our children, I'm also talking about teachers. Teachers who happen to be our co-parents, because come on, you guys, you are always in school all the time. You only come home a few hours. And the cooperation need, imagine if you rebel against somebody, you become a difficult student, you are the only one making noise, you are not smart, you are told to do this, you do something else. It is stressful. It is stressful. Just as you would not want somebody else to stress you, I'm hoping that we can raise you guys as the people that are going to cooperate with us. Realizing that we are not out there to fight you. When we tell you don't do this, it's not that mom is difficult. You go, and there was a time where we say, I told one of my children, I said, my friend, they do this. So I said, young man, just let me know. Give me the number to your parents, to the parents of your friend, so that I call them. I'll pack your bags so you can live with them, because we are not about to do what they are doing. So cooperate. Each family has got its values. So cooperate with your parents, cooperate with your teachers. They are your co-parents. Cooperate with the elderly. We have lost the values of respecting elders. For example, you can't be seated while an elderly person is standing. So those are some of the things that have groomed us to become who we are today. So when you look at us, we are a product of many teachings that we decided to take, because you decide to take it or leave it. But I pray that we'll raise you as a people that will make decisions. Sometimes it'll be hard. Sometimes love is not giving you what you want. Sometimes love will be not giving you what you want. Because sometimes what you think you want is not the best of what you should have. So cooperation and also trusting the hands that are taking care of you at that point, which could be a mother or a teacher. All of us are out there as a community to support you. We support you from home, the teachers support you academically, and together, and others support you from church, and you're getting all the best support you can. Enjoy that support. Make use of it, knowing that there are street kids out there that do not get this kind of support that you're getting today. So I want you to take advantage of it and be grateful that you have the education, you have the parents, you have a community of teachers and others that are supporting you. Take advantage of that. Don't look back. There are kids out there who did not sleep under a roof today because they've got nobody to take care of them. Be grateful to God, be grateful to your parents, be grateful to your teachers, and that's the way we live, and that will be my last word on this one.
Well, my last words, like she has said, as students and as mothers, I'm going to focus more on mothers. The pressure that the kids are facing, and also the pressures that the mothers are facing, is quite immense. As a mother, the best feeling ever is being able to afford your child's lifestyle, being able to give them their best. But sometimes the economy doesn't allow. Sometimes you are unable to. So like she said, when they say, no, my friend's parents did this, it can get to you sometimes. You are giving your best, but sometimes things just don't work out that they should. So I want to encourage the mothers. Motherhood is not about, perfection. It's just showing up in your imperfect way. Showing up, showing the love. I know sometimes you are unable to do certain things for your kids. It's very important. I'm Christian, if we are Christian, I always say you get back to God and tell him to say, allow me, give me the strength. Because he has never failed us. Give me the strength to raise these children. Give me that, the contentment. Many times we want, because, she's bringing her child in a Hilux or in a Land Cruiser, I should also do. There is nothing wrong with aspiring to that. But what you could do right now, there is be content with what you can afford as you push forward to, something bigger. Because as mothers, there's also that level of, competition that you are seeing, because on social media, this one posted the status, they're in a trip, you receive that pressure. We're young parents, most of us. So you want also your kids, to get on that trip, to do what? No. If it's not the time, if you don't have enough resources, just be there for your children. When the time comes when you're able to afford a trip, when you're able to do that for your children, you'll be able to. And that's the time that you need to sit down with your kids and discuss. Because, sometimes my kids will come to say, Mommy, we want this, or we want to go to this place. I'll sit down with them. You need to be true with your children and tell them, guys, I know those are desires, but at this particular point, I'm unable to, because we have this and that and that. But when the time comes, I should be able to give you this. Yes. Yeah, because when you communicate to them with your heart, trust me, the children listen and they will understand you. For me, I've made it a policy. When they want something, I'll communicate them to right now, I'm unable to do this. When the time comes, I'm able to. That's why, especially my two older ones, especially the second one will be asked, Mommy, do you have money? then I'll say, no, okay. I said, what did you want? I wanted this. I was okay. No, when you have them, buy. But at the same time, when I promise to say that's what I'm going to do, I have to do it.
Yes.
Because your word as a mother or as a parent goes a long way.
Yes.
Because the minute you start breaking promises, we break 1, 2, 3, 4. The children, if they grow up to be adults, I don't trust people. That's very true. So when you make a promise, please try by all means to honor it, especially for mothers. Let's try it. If you can't do it, tell them I'm able to do it. You are better off saying I'm unable to do it than give them a surprise. And like you promise, then you break it. That way they're going to be, adults. I don't trust people. Yeah, so social media is not just getting to the kids, it's getting to us mothers. But let's learn to, just be happy that, what we have and push for, better lives for our children. There's not been a competition as mothers. And when you look at another mother, you don't know what they're going through. Just show that empathy, Women fight a lot of things. I'm not saying men don't fight a lot of things, but this is Mother's Day. Women are fighting a lot of battles. Be gracious one another. Let us be gracious one another. Let us be empathetic. Let's just show you, say, I don't know what she's going through. She doesn't know what I'm going through. But when you receive that care from a woman, it just gives you, that morale to just, push and go, and go forward. So let us be loving, let us be empathetic as mothers, and let us just raise, this is not the child that I gave birth to, but let me care for them like they were my own. Because we are here, you and I are here, all of us are here because the community made it a policy to say we're going to raise this child. Therefore, even us as mothers, let us take up the responsibility of each and every child. When you see a child, make sure that their security is catered for, their well-being is catered for. You don't have to be reminded. That is motherhood. We are called it's called Mother Earth because it cares. So as mothers, let us show care. They don't have to be a biological child. Let us just care for them. For me, that would be my last words.
That's nice. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you to our wonderful moms for sharing their stories with us today. We learned that mothers give love, wisdom, and joy to their families. Happy Mother's Day to all. You are truly amazing.